Welcome back in. Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio, June 29th. KSL News time, 12:21 p.m. We are watching the NHL draft. We're also watching cornhole. So I bring that up because it's the doldrums of the offseason. It's the summertime. But still, we got a lot of BYU football content for you this week. That's because earlier this week, Matt and I, we were part of a Cougar Sports Saturday foursome at the BYU Football Media Golf event at Cedar Hills Golf Course. And Matt, the final score, it was a clean sheet for us. We had no bogeys, no double bogeys. Like, it was all pars and birdies. It was a good day for our team.
Great day for the team. Bad day for me. Great day for the team. And
I think, Matt, looking back on that day, I think you just mentally beat yourself up.
Yeah.
You just had to be in the right mindset. I'm a big believer in that now because
I think you're right.
With golf, you just got to have that right. It's what's the Happy Gilmore quote? The Kevin Nealon. It was like block, flow.
Oh.
Like feel it. It's a circle. Feel the flow or something. I don't know.
I think you're totally right. There were some great things observed, though. So our golfing group included Dax Milne,
yes,
Blake Freeland, Hank Tuipilotu, and then
Baylor Romney. Yeah.
That was they were ripping it, too. Baylor Romney was good. Hank was good. Blake, I don't think Blake was very good. No disrespect to Blake, but he had a couple shanks.
Nor should he be. I think the Colts are glad you said that.
Yeah.
They're like, good. He's glad he's not good. Keep studying film.
Interesting to see Dax Milne, too. That's somebody you don't see a whole lot. It's going to be an uphill battle for him, I think, with the Commanders.
Yeah, he said he was back in town a couple weeks back and getting settled back into Utah, just catching up with some old friends and stuff. But, Dax Milne, heck of a football player. I was talking to him about, I said, thanks for the sharing the my 100 BYU football greatest player list of all time. He shared the post of him. He's like, I was honored. I had him at number 67.
That's pretty high.
A little bit controversial, but I thought that one season, one of the best seasons I've ever witnessed in BYU football history by a receiver. And the thing is that with Dax and that whole team in general, 2020, it kind of gets overlooked, but that was a loaded NFL team.
Yeah.
You think about how many NFL guys they had. But, yeah, I was caught up with Baylor Romney, too. Asked him, I said, hey, how does it feel to, post something on LinkedIn and have Cougar fans and go, is he coming back?
He made a tremendous mistake giving up that year of eligibility.
You think so?
100%. Because it was very clear that coaching staff didn't want Jacob Conover to ever touch the starting quarterback position. So he would have backed up Jaron Hall, and then there would have never have been Keaton Slovis. They would have went to Baylor Romney because I think he would have had that year. I'm trying. I mean, with the COVID year, it's like sort of hard.
I think he would have had another.
I believe because Aaron Roderick told us once there was a path where all three of them could have been the starting quarterbacks, and that would have meant that Baylor would have been. I think what he meant was Jaron Hall starts. Baylor has his extra senior year as starting quarterback, and then it could have went to Conover. That obviously didn't happen.
Right.
He moved on, and it's hard to blame him because it's like, dude, how long can I be the backup quarterback here? Like 5-6 years? But he could have been the guy. And I think we would have all felt great about him having a year as the starting quarterback.
I pulled up my 2021 roster real quick. Baylor Romney was a sophomore that year. So 2022 junior.
Would have backed up.
2023 COVID senior.
Starting.
Yeah, you're right. He would have been.
That was a big mistake.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake. He would have been the declared starting quarterback as Jaron Hall goes pro, and you would have been fine with it. I would have been fine with it.
Baylor was awesome. I think back to Baylor 2019. He beats Liberty.
Yeah.
That was, little did we know, Liberty was a pretty dang good program. They had an NFL receiver that year, too. He won that game. I think
convincingly.
He won the Boise State game, too.
With the trickeration.
That's right.
The
with
nasty,
the Boise State. Then he came in in 2021
against ASU.
That's right.
Clinched that game.
The bowl game was a mess. Like, no one wanted to be there. I don't hold that against him. But you're probably right. I really had never thought of that because I just honestly in my head thought he probably had no eligibility to 2023. But, yeah, he could have played last year had he stayed around.
And he should have stayed. And there were coaches on the staff last year that were holding out hope in spring. I'm getting all my years mixed up here. But there were coaches who –
Spring of 2023.
The door was open for him to return had he wanted to.
Yes.
And he moved on, and that's fine. I would have – look, there was a lot of BYU football players that left eligibility on the table, and I say to that, big mistake.
I agree with you because – and I think back to last November when Tyler Batty told me he was coming back, and he just said, you know what, I don't want to leave any eligibility on the table. And it was kind of refreshing because, I thought back to last year too when I think it was the TCU game out in Texas. Jake Oldroyd's on the sideline. And I'm thinking, I know Jake had his ups and downs at BYU as a kicker, and it worked out. Will Farron's been really good.
Yep.
But he could have played last year,
yep.
Jake. He didn't have to leave. So I know that football is an absolute grind, and these guys go through it, and it's not.
Let's be real, though. It's much less of a grind today than it was even 10 years ago. I was talking
I think it's way more than that.
No, you're dead wrong, bitch. Dude, I was talking with – you're dead wrong when you say that.
The pressure, though? There's more money on the line. Okay, there's more pressure to perform.
The pressure is
there's way more stress.
There's way more pressure, but the grind. I was talking with Talon Alfrey, and I got an interview with him. We'll play it in the next couple of weeks. And I was like, dude, he was telling me just how great they're taken care of. Fall camp, he's got a plan to stay healthy. And I'm like, dude, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I remember sweating my butt off and getting sunburns for Broncos two-a-days. That doesn't happen anymore.
But I think the pressure now, I think there's more of a get them to the game mindset. But if you are not good enough, that in a certain practice or a certain game, you're done. You're out.
The pressure is much higher. It's professional level expectations.
Right.
But we're just talking grind. They get every meal. I mean, there were days when you only get 2 meals. You got to scrap for that third. I'm talking about that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. They are. This is professional football.
Yeah,
it is. It's professional sports, and I don't knock the players for that. Absolutely, get yours.
Yep.
By all means, get as much money as you can. But I think when you do have money on the line, I think it creates a dynamic where coaches will not be as patient, and players better perform because they want to continue to get that check.
Yep.
I mean, now starting next year potentially with revenue sharing, that's exciting, but it's also pressure filled where you better perform. We could see a dynamic, Matt, where these 4-year guaranteed scholarships are now a thing of the past because it could be in the revenue sharing era where you're signing a 2-year deal, and if you don't perform, then you're
cut.
You're out. And what's next? Do you not get picked up in the portal? Do you have an academic scholarship there? So I think. But you're right. I mean, the archaic rules of the NCAA of the past where you can only get 2 meals, that was insane. These guys get fed nicely.
These guys are treated very well. But to your point, look, I think we're both right in some respects. The day-to-day grind in terms of practice and nutrition and all that, I think it's never been easier. But the expectation to produce has never been higher because no longer, I think, at least at the power level, Mitch, do people look at this and say, oh, yeah, this is just collegiate athletics anymore.
Let's take a break. On the other side, let's hear from Kalani Sitake. He had a lot of interesting commentary to share at that BYU golf event earlier this week. This is Cougar Sports Saturday, powered by KSL Sports.